Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share, and subscribe. Enjoy today's episode.
BCY*** River System, the territory of the Otero civilization, Star Spirit Clan. Edwald has been busy with the rebuilding of civilization lately, leaving the matter of sending people to explore the galaxy cantilevered. When I finally remembered this today, I asked Executive Graf to call him. Graf, I have been having a hunch recently. On a certain cantilever of the BCY** River System, a big force is rising, and I want you to send someone to investigate, Edwald said. Leader, can you feel the specific location? Graf asked. I don't feel it. I'm afraid it will take time to find it. Edwald shook his head. The words of the leader Edwald made Graf a little embarrassed. There was no clear goal, and the search area was so wide, only relying on ship reconnaissance. I don't know what year and month to gain. Graf, don't be too embarrassed. I know that this kind of thing is like finding a needle in a haystack. Just do your best. Edwald knew that his goals were too vague and difficult to implement. Leader, what can arouse your intuitive sense should not be a simple force, right? After thinking for a while, Graf asked. Naturally not. At least it can have an impact on our Star Spirit Clan. I don't think civilizations below the 5th level need to be considered. Edwald gives a rough idea. However, we have explored that this river system has no other 5-level civilizations except for Ulster. Graf said, maybe there's a civilization rising, or it's an outsider. Okay, leader, I'll arrange someone to search. Graf promised. Just as the Star Spirit Clan arranged to scout the galaxy, Meng Ze was doing the same thing, and it started earlier and on a much larger scale than the Star Spirit Clan. Since you want to defend the Blue Star, it is inevitable to scout the BCY** galaxy. Meng Ze sent tens of thousands of teams to explore in all directions with a team of 100 destroyers and 1 scientific spacecraft. So far, a lot of information has been returned, but apart from the discovery of 2 second-level small civilizations, there are no more discoveries. In the interstellar world, in just 2 days, the number of small galaxies in Meng Ze has swelled to nearly 700. And it seems that it is expected to complete the task of adding small galaxies ahead of schedule. These newly added small galaxies are being built frantically at this time. The specific construction content is specified by Meng Ze, and the small card is responsible for the implementation. Meng Ze randomly selected some planets to check and found that the situation was not bad, except that the number of individual buildings was slightly higher, which was in line with the plan. As for building more buildings, according to the small card, it is to ensure sufficient redundancy, although some are indeed unnecessary, but Meng Ze did not care. The small card can have this initiative, Meng Ze praised it. After checking the construction of his territory, Meng Ze routinely prepared to beat up the relic Zerg. Meng Ze organized 12 million warships into 30 fleets, and formed a large square conical formation with a maximum width of more than 200,000 kilometers according to the fleet. According to the 1, 4, 9, and 16 squares, and calmly entered the Zerg territory. Here it is again. Abelek hissed in pain and helplessness. If you can't fight and fight, you will be beaten harder if you resist, but you can't lie down completely, and you have to accompany this big guy to act, otherwise you will be beaten even harder. This was the experience that Abelek had learned many times, and he never thought that his insect life would be so difficult. Pick the rope and collect 6 million interstellar Zergs, of course, all of which are the cheapest troops, and then make a heroic and fearless charge, shuttling through the dimensional space at the fastest speed. Here it comes, Abelek said to his heart. Sure enough, the big guy on the opposite side. Once afire, Abelek was half forced to jump out of the dimensional space with half cooperation, followed by the space solidification cannon that penetrated the dimensional space. Then, even if Abelek had the heart to resist, there was nothing he could do. I don't know if he cooperated well today, but the big guy on the opposite side didn't tease him and quickly slaughtered his own death troops. AKA, I have an idea, Meng Ze said in his mind. It's feasible, AKA answered directly. So, there's no fun without privacy, and if you don't peep at this information, maybe you'll be shocked by my genius idea and then feel the surprise from it. 39. No need. AKA looked cold. Huh. Let's say hello to it. 35. Zerg Forbidden Core. If he had a hand, perhaps Abelak would wipe the unwarranted sweat from his head. Today is a catastrophe again. But when will such a day come to an end? Just when Abelak was speechless, a black machine suddenly and quickly generated in the void in front of him. The machine spawned and snapped in front of Abelak. Abelak was scared enough in this scene. When did the Imperial Federation already master the interstellar world to such an extent? If so, then he still has a way to live. Abelak? The machine formed a virtual projection screen in front of Abelak, on which its name was displayed in the Imperial Federation script. Abelak was literate, and he had taken down many players of the Imperial Federation and learned a lot of knowledge from them. You, who are you? Abelak didn't know how to use the machine, but when it thought about it over and over again, the problem actually showed itself on the machine. Haha, you beat me up every day, and you don't know who I am? A paragraph of text is redisplayed on the machine. It's you, the great devil, big, king. Abelak was horrified. Want to die or want to live? For the Zerg, it should be direct, so Meng Ze directly let him choose. The little ones want to live. Abelak was very knowledgeable. I have two conditions. You just agree, don't agree. Do you believe that I can directly kill you? Meng Ze feels like a villain now, and the Zerg leader is a lamb to be slaughtered. Abelak's letter? That is naturally believed. In the Kalabari Mountain Nebula alone, it has seen more than 1 billion of the other party's fleet, and it is not known how many are hidden. Ask the king to put forward conditions. After being beaten for so long, life is getting more and more difficult. In terms of fragmentation authority, the Imperial Federation is strictly guarded, and it has not found any opportunities, and the future is unpredictable, and Abelak never wants to live such a day again. Seeing that this person seems to have the intention of showing him the way, for the current Abelak, ambition must be put aside first, and survival is the first priority. Of course, this is also the nature of the Zerg. First, do you have any objections to the command of me in future actions? After a little thought, Abelak agreed. There must be no objection to this one, and there is no way to live if you are not obedient, and it understands this way. Second, I want to look at the fragments in your hand and copy a copy of the permission, Meng Ze said half-truthfully. Hearing this, Abelak's first reaction was to refuse, but then thought of the consequences of refusal and immediately hesitated. Don't worry, I copy a copy of the permission and return it to you. Without this fragment, even if I don't do it, it won't be long before you will be killed by other commanders. This is not what I want to see. You should know this. Meng Ze messaged. When Abelak thought about it, it seemed that this was really the case, and the other party definitely had a chance to kill him. There is no need to do it directly. As long as the other party completely cuts off his source of planet seeds in the Kalabari Mountain Nebula, then his territory will become smaller and smaller, until he is dragged to death by the 3 commanders surrounding him. Great King, you really will pay me back, right? Abelak said apprehensively. Naturally, if I didn't want to pay you back, I would have come and fetched it myself. Meng Ze's tone was very relaxed, as if the fragments in Abelak's hand were within reach. After hesitating for a while, Abelak decided to trust the other party, mainly because Meng Ze did have the strength to kill it. Great King, how should I give you this fragment? Abelak asked. Just place it in the middle of the machine button in front of you. The pieces were about to arrive, and Meng Ze was so excited that even AKA showed joy. Hearing Meng Ze's words, Abelak noticed that there were 2 buttons on the machine, one with a message and one with a message. In the middle of the 2 buttons, there is a round table measuring 1 meter square. Abelak slowly took out the fragments he was holding, and the worm's face actually showed a painful expression. Put the fragments on the round platform. The little shorthand just left. A field covered the round platform, and the fragments disappeared instantly. You won't be fooled, will you? The fragments were gone, and Abelak's heart was empty, and there was no sense of security to speak of. In his heart, Abelak wondered for a moment whether he had been deceived, and then thought that the other party should be a principled donkey. If he doesn't pay me back, I'll have to fight for my life. Finally, Abelak's worm face showed a crazy look. The relic Zerg are still useful to Meng Ze, and naturally they will not let Abelak finish easily. Akka, how long will it take? At a certain space-time node, Aker has pasted the crystal nucleus fragments obtained from Abelek with the original crystal nucleus fragments. As soon as they came into contact, the two pieces began to fuse with each other, and the cracks that were already clearly visible were decreasing at a speed visible to the naked eye. 10 minutes later, the joint of the pieces was as smooth as new, as if it had not cracked again. AKA felt that the connection between the crystal nucleus and the world was suddenly strengthened, and the world wall of the StarCraft simulation world, which originally seemed very fragile, was gradually strengthening. Strong mood swings of joy spread out from AKA, and under its influence, Meng Ze's heart suddenly became happy. I wipe. Aker, your emotions are actually contagious. After a while, Meng Ze suddenly came to his senses and said in shock. Hearing Meng Ze's words, AKA collected his emotions and said, no way. This is a gap in the life level. 55. Obviously the tone is flat, but Meng Ze can hear the taste of sneering. Pretending not to hear, Meng Ze changed the subject, AKA, you have more than 800 more years there? For too long, I was afraid that Abelek's dog would jump over the wall. Don't worry, I'm good at the rest of the steps. AKA replied. Hide from the sea, I understand. I didn't see any movement from Aker. In fact, the ball-shaped information cluster of Arcana couldn't make any moves, and in front of it, a crystal nucleus fragment exactly like the one obtained from Abelek was quickly generated. This step is simple, and the next step is the key. AKA began to compile permissions in this nascent nucleus, of course, not real permissions, but the right to use derived from the real nucleus fragmentation authority. These permissions look the same as before, without any problems, and all work normally. But in fact, this is AKA's method of stealing beams and changing columns, and the fake permission is only to call the real permission of the crystal nucleus fragment to play a role. AKA also limited the effect of permissions so that the effect is exactly the same as before. But whether this permission can be used or not is AKA's decision. As long as Abelek had something else in mind one day, AKA could instantly cut off his access to authority, AFDF. It took 2 hours to make the fake fragment and pass it to Meng Ze, and now, the entire crystal nucleus is only one piece of the Imperial Federation. Zerg Forbidden Land. From the moment the fragments disappeared, Abelek's gaze never left the round platform. 2 hours have passed, and Abelek, who is staring at the round platform, has become more and more desperate in his heart, and if it weren't for the news from Meng Ze's side from time to time, Abelek might have gone crazy. The shard has been with it since it was born, and Abelek has never been separated from the shard for so long. Since giving the fragment, Abelek's heart began to regret it, and now he feels that his heart is about to tear apart. Do you want to fight to the death? When Abelek began to think this, suddenly, the round platform lit up and a small field appeared. It's back. As the field disappeared, revealing the crystal nucleus fragments in it, Abelek quickly twisted his fat body and held the crystal core fragments in his hand with his small claws, which he did not want away with his body, revealing a surprised expression of loss and regain. Subsequently, Abelek quickly examined the crystal nucleus fragments. Appearance, there is no problem with appearance. Permissions, permission transfer is also normal. Although slightly unfamiliar, Abelek did not suspect it. Taking the fragment back, Abelek finally breathed a sigh of relief, and even felt a sense of gratitude in his heart for Meng Ze, thanking the great demon king. The king kept his principles, otherwise there would be no fragments, and Abelek would only be a dead word. The fragments are returned to you. Next I will replace one of the commanders to trap you. You recently gave me a place to settle down, understand? Meng Ze sent a message. Don't worry, the great king will obey the great king's arrangement. Abelek replied. Meng Ze didn't take the news to heart, and if Abelek dared not to obey the order, he had a way to let him know why the flowers were so red. Great king, do you still need to send troops every day? Abelek sent the message a little apprehensively. Millions of interstellar troops every day, even if it only costs the cost of rare classes, is a great burden. Not to mention that Abelek has to fight with the commander in other directions. During this time, its territory shrank a lot. Meng Ze thought about it and felt that now that even Abelek was under his control, there was no need. No need, but you are honest during this time, mainly defense. Don't take the initiative to provoke trouble, understand? Don't worry, everything is subject to the king's arrangement. 35. Hearing that there was no need to send troops to death, Abelik breathed a big sigh of relief and immediately expressed satisfaction with his actions of knowing the time, and did not see that as soon as he took effect, this benefit came. When Meng Ze was cleaning up Abelik in the interstellar world, the situation in the Imperial Federation was turbulent. Not long ago, the first 6th level commander finally stood up and openly supported Pu Isen's participation in the election of commander-in-chief. This serious interference in the political situation of the Imperial Federation caused an uproar throughout the Imperial Federation. The election mechanism for the commander-in-chief of the Imperial Federation is different from all the election mechanisms on the Blue Star. That is, it is not a universal suffrage system or a recommendation system. Instead, there is a list of commander-in-chief reserve candidates, and then multiple rounds of selection are conducted by the core high level of the entire empire. The reserve list is accumulated year by the central wisdom brain of the Imperial Federation and the major families and high-level officials, and there are generally hundreds of people. The core high-level selection of the Imperial Federation will be comprehensively evaluated from this list, and several rounds of consultation will be held, and finally the list of 5 people will be selected. The selection process is completed 5 years before the election of the commander-in-chief, and the 5 selected people are drawn to govern in various departments of the empire. 2 months before the election of the commander-in-chief, Xi Brain combined these people's ruling experience and effects in the past 5 years, plus their previous political achievements, and announced it to all citizens of the Imperial Federation. The final round of selection is carried out by citizens of the Imperial Federation. And Pu Isen, although he was on the reserve list of the Imperial Commander, did not pass the high-level selection of the Imperial Federation. Its forcible insertion into the election of the Commander-in-Chief of the Empire is to subvert the election rules of the Empire for thousands of years and is absolutely inadmissible. Suddenly this happened, and the atmosphere of the entire Imperial Federation suddenly became tense. All major clans also urgently convened the core members of the family to discuss the matter. Emperor Star Huang family. At this time, all the core figures of the Huang family, including the former deputy commander of the Imperial Federation, Huang Du's great-grandfather Huang Boyu, Huang Du's grandfather, Huang Yue, the 3-star general of the empire, Huang Du's second uncle, a 2-star lieutenant general of the Imperial Federation, and a 5th-level commander Huang Caipu, Huang Yi, chief administrative officer of Emperor Star and father of Huang Du, and Huang Du, Dream Star Night Glow, who has now been promoted to a major general of the 1st rank of the empire, is impressively listed. As a veteran top family of the Imperial Federation and a core member of the core high-level selection meeting of the Imperial Federation, the Huang family was greatly affected this time. The blatant stand of the 6th-level commanders, and their support is not for any of the 5 people selected by the selection committee, which is obviously expressing dissatisfaction with the core high-level selection committee of the empire and directly intensifying the conflict. If we talk about the implicit support before, the Huang family can still be regarded as nothing happening, but now the situation is no longer for the Huang family not to take sides. If you have any views on this matter, let's all talk about it. 35 Huang Boyu spoke. As the chief administrative officer of Emperor Star, Huang Yue can clearly feel the undercurrent of Emperor Star surging after the incident. For thousands of years, although there is wisdom brain involved, the commander of the Imperial Federation has always been in the hands of the top family of the Imperial Federation, and the most important thing is this core high-level selection meeting. No matter how Zybrain and the public choose and evaluate, after this procedure screening, the final commander is the person selected by the family. Now some people want to challenge this order, which is to be an enemy of the Imperial Federation, the family. Grandfather, I don't think this matter should be delayed for too long, and it must be suppressed in a thunderous way, otherwise, this will become more and more unfavorable for us big tribes. Huang Yue said. Big brother is right. I also think that things should be suppressed as soon as possible, but the problem is that the 6th-level commander is not an ordinary person, and if he does not touch his military power, he cannot shake his roots. And once he touches the other party's military power, I am afraid that it will lead to a civil war. and things are difficult to handle. Huang Caipu said the difficulty. Don't forget, the other party is still a frontline commander. Once there is turmoil, the Zerg will inevitably take this opportunity to attack the Imperial Federation in a big way, and I am afraid that the situation will be out of control at that time. Huang Yuyi added. Some people, forgetting the careful cultivation of the Imperial Federation, think that they can do whatever they want when they become a 6th-level commander. When such a thing happened in the military, Huang Yue, an Imperial 3-star general who was one of the highest levels of the military, was undoubtedly extremely angry. As soon as the 6th-level commander publicly announced his support for Pu Yisan, Huang Yue asked the military to reduce the logistics supply of the other party's 3 layers, a move that was undoubtedly a warning to the other party not to do anything outside the scope of authority. Xiaodu, tell me your opinion. Huang Boyu ignored his son's anger, looked at Huang Du, who did not say a word on the side, and said, for his best great-grandson, Huang Boyu is very satisfied, and the family has been carefully cultivating him. At this time, Huang Boyu is very eager to hear the thoughts of his descendant. Seeing his great-grandfather's question, Huang Du was not frightened, stood up and replied, great-grandfather, in my opinion, whether it is for the stability of the empire or the interests of the family, this commander's behavior is absolutely undesirable. However, the other party's insect deterrence center is really not good to directly make a big move. So what do you have in mind? Huang Boyu nodded and continued to ask. There has to be an alternative, both to prepare for a conflict and to tell the other side that his importance is not that high. 35 Huang Du said. It's hard. Huang Yue said on the side. The 6th-level commander of the Imperial Federation is a turnip and a pit. Everyone's position is very important. It is very difficult to transfer. I don't know if the interstellar world you are responsible for can be transferred from the 6th-level commander. I've already negotiated one, and I should be able to free my hand in 3 days. Huang Du replied. One is not enough. Huang Yue shook his head and said, there are at least a few commanders who are ready to move, and if they want to have a deterrent effect, they must be at least 3. How many 6th-level commanders there are in the interstellar world? Huang Yue naturally knows that when he says this, he wants to transfer all the 6th-level commanders of the interstellar world at once. Of course, this number is not a matter of words. If only one commander is drawn at a time, then the next time someone openly announces what to do, one by one to replace, it is better to pull out 3 6th-level commanders at once to have a better deterrent effect. After all, the 6th-level commanders are weak in personnel information for reasons of their own secrecy, and those people simply do not know how many 6th-level commanders there are in the Imperial Federation, let alone think that the 6th-level commanders of the Imperial Federation are already stretched. The appearance of multiple 6th-level commanders at one time is likely to lead to misjudgment by the other party, and after that, presumably those people will be a lot more secure. Hearing his grandfather's words, Dream Star Knight Hui, Huang Du, immediately understood. 0. Ask for flowers. But this kind of thing is not as simple as embarrassment, which makes him where to find so many 6th-level commanders to come out. It is impossible to ignore the interstellar world. If the Emperor Star Huang family had to actively deal with the matter of the 6th-level commander standing in line, then the Meng family behind Meng Ze still had a choice. Remember, at this time, we must act low-key. Our Meng family is not a member of the core high-level selection committee of the Empire. This incident will not have much impact on us, and even some aspects will have certain benefits. Meng Xiaowen to his 2 sons Meng Xiaohan and Meng Xiaodudeo. Understood, father. Meng Xiaohan and Meng Xiaowu both agreed to come down. Father, which side do you like this time? Meng Xiaowu, who had been promoted to Chief Administrative Officer of Qixing, asked. It's hard to say, logically speaking, 1 or 2 6th-level commanders are not a threat to the family, but my intuition tells me that this matter is not so simple, and the water behind it should be very deep. Meng Xiaowen frowned. Point 0. Meng Xiaowen has retired after all, although he still has a lot of influence, but there are not many intelligence channels, and it is not even comparable to the eldest son who is in office, Meng Xiaohan, the 2nd-level lieutenant general of the empire. However, the spiritual sense that used to be a 6th-level commander is still there, so he always feels that something is not quite right, which is the main reason why he asked his two sons not to stand in line so quickly. Seeing his father say this, Meng Xiaohan and Meng Xiaowu looked at each other, but they knew their father's ability. By the way, father, is Ozawa okay over there? He was very close to the Huang family's Huang Du. Meng Xiaohan suddenly thought of Meng Ze and said, "What can happen? Ozawa is only a second-level commander now, and he can't do anything at all." Meng Xiaowen waved his hand. "That's good. Emperor Star Su family, the family of -90 degrees, Su Ing. Compared with the Emperor Star Huang family, the Emperor Star Su family is slightly inferior, but it is much stronger than the Meng family, and the family also has members of the core high-level selection committee of the Imperial Federation. For the reaction to this incident, the Su family and the Huang family are the same, but compared to the Huang family's initiative, the Su family can only assist and cooperate. Compared with the Huang family, which has a strong military strength, the Su family is more political. Politics is the mainstream of peace and prosperity, but in troubled times, or when the world changes, military strength is the best reliance. Therefore, correspondingly, the Su family's status is not as good as the Huang family, and against the 6th-level commander, the Su family does not have a good way to deal with. Although Abelik verbally promised to submit to Meng Ze would not expect the Zerg to be trustworthy, but Meng Ze was not very worried about this. Abelik's biggest dependence was in Meng Ze's hands. If he dared to have a different heart, it would be easy to clean it up. Withdrew from the interstellar world, and the two young beautiful girls were still asleep. Originally, genetic enhancement will have some subtle rejection reactions, and some blood foam and dead cells will be excreted through the skin and sticking to the skin. But the high-level energy cabin is indeed different. If there is no energy wash, it can actually break down all these secretions, making the skin of the two girls appear more smooth and delicate. After waiting for a while, finally, with a bang, the energy hatch automatically opened. "Wow, Vivi, your skin is so good." Zhang Lingling just sat up, and when she saw Luo Wei next to her, her eyes instantly widened. "Lingling, yours too." 803 Luo Wei heard the voice, hurriedly looked at herself, and then looked at Zhang Lingling, and also exclaimed in surprise. Neither of them expected that genetic enhancement would have this effect. Ahem. Looking at the undulating scenery of the two girls beating excitedly, Meng Ze couldn't help but cough a few reminders. When the girls followed Meng Ze's gaze, they suddenly exclaimed, and they all blushed with shame. "Okay, you guys get dressed, I'll go outside and wait for you." When the girls came out, Shi Guangqi appeared at the right time, and the three of them officially began the journey of visiting the mothership. Neither Meng Ze nor Luo Wei have met for the first time, so there are only exclamations from Zhang Lingling along the way. The apron, cabin, living area, personnel supply area, power room, etc., with Shi Guangqi leading the way, several people looked at all the places that could not go. Although as a commander, Meng Ze learned so deeply about the life of the soldiers on his battleship. In general, because biochemical warriors are not rich in feelings, life is very mechanical and monotonous. Basically, exercise, supply, sleep, and occasional entertainment is also a competition between fighters. No wonder the commanders of the Imperial Federation only treat these fighters as consumables. Not only because these warriors are all biochemical people who are quickly cultivated through biotechnology and then injected with corresponding memory templates to form simple personalities, but also because this manufacturing method will cause biochemical warriors to be unable to improve their personality, which is completely incompatible with ordinary humans. If it was novel at the beginning, but after seeing more such scenes, Luo Wei and Zhang Lingling seemed a little uncomfortable, and perhaps the girls would no longer want to understand the life of biochemical warriors in the future. However, this is also the treatment that the Meng Ze 3 have, and the others cannot contact the life of biochemical warriors at all, and they will only see the image of a ruthless warrior wearing armor. After visiting the Stellar-class mothership and experiencing the dining on the Stellar-class mothership, Meng Ze and his two daughters finally joined their families and prepared to return home. Everyone was in great shape, everyone looked radiant, and Meng Ze's parents looked more like they were 10 years younger because they were the oldest. After arriving at Blue Star Airport, the Xiagua government arranged a physical examination. All the electronic instruments in front of AKA are pediatrics, and the data detected by Meng Ze fluctuates around the median of the crowd, and the only thing that is a little troublesome is the blood test. However, Meng Ze had expected to replace the blood sample in front of everyone, and the Blue Star guards present had even taken up weapons, but in an instant, everyone forgot about it. AKA, thank you, Meng Ze said in his mind. Hmph, hurry back. Your friends in the interstellar world are looking for you, AKA said. Meng Ze's heart froze, and AKA showed the information in his mind. 90 degrees below zero, dog-headed buns, and Dream Star Night Glow all have messages. Neither minus 90 degrees nor Dream Star Night Glow said what it was, just let Meng Ze have time to practice them. And the dog-headed bun mentioned that there were 6th-level commanders of the Imperial Federation who publicly announced their support for Pu Isin and asked Meng Ze if there was any influence on his family. Meng Ze learned about the latest information of the Imperial Federation and the election rules of the Imperial Federation through Acre, and probably understood what was going on, and was also surprised that the political sensitivity of the dog-headed bun was quite high. At this time, Meng Ze is also inconvenient to deal with these things, so there is no reply for the time being. After the group left the airport, Luo Wei's parents and Zhang Lingling's parents left first, and Zhang Lingling asked to stay with Luo Wei by herself. Meng's father and Meng Ze's younger siblings are about to go back, because the family's farmhouse is still under construction and needs to be watched. Meng Ze arranged a car for them, and after sending the family away, Meng Ze hurried back. For Zhang Lingling to follow herself and Luo Wei, Meng Ze was used to it, but she didn't think much about it. Back home, at the request of Zhang Lingling, Meng Ze thought a little and brought the two girls to the interstellar world 0. Then they asked them to take them outside to visit, and they began to reply to their friends one by one. First, a communication was sent to minus 90 degrees. Meng Ze, do you know the situation in the Imperial Federation? 90 degrees below zero asked directly. Know some, but don't know the details. Meng Ze said. The family didn't contact you? 90 degrees below zero said in surprise. Maybe I don't think I can help anything. This is Meng Ze's true thoughts on the Meng family's attitude after learning about the situation of the Imperial Federation. That's right, even if it's you, you're just a low-level commander. Meng Ze heard a sense of powerlessness in his friend's words. How? Have you made a decision in your family? Meng Ze asked. We don't have a choice. We can't watch others provoke and do nothing, but unfortunately I can't help at all. 90 degrees below zero is the Su family's lineage, and the sense of belonging to the family is still very strong. Don't think about it too much. There are tall people on top of the sky falling, although your family is good, but it is not the family that has been hit the hardest. Meng Ze reassured his friend. You're right, and I don't know what decision your family will make. 90 degrees below zero seemed to say inadvertently. Recently, through his subordinates, he has dealt with the top management of Xiagua, and Meng Ze has become a lot sensitive in terms of political consciousness. Hearing the words of minus 90 degrees, Meng Ze suddenly felt that his friend was from a political family, although he did not want to enter politics, but when he encountered this kind of thing, he unconsciously wanted to understand the attitude of all parties for the family. Meng Ze thought about his situation and suddenly found that the Meng family was afraid that they would be dragged into the water by themselves in the past 3.5 times. Meng Ze couldn't refuse, and when he agreed, he didn't think that things would be so involved. Once he liberated the 6th-level commander of the interstellar world, he was actually standing in line in disguise. If he is a little luo, others may not care, but since he can accept the defense of the 6th-level commander, this volume can no longer be ignored. As long as there is a heart to investigate, Meng Ze will inevitably fall into the eyes of many people. At that time, they will associate themselves with the Meng family, and no one will believe that a person with the strength of a 6th-level commander will be ignored by the family. In this case, the question of minus 90 degrees has an answer. I'm not sure what the family decides, but I'm definitely on your side. Ending the call with minus 90 degrees, Meng Ze pondered for a while before dialing the call of Dreamstar Night Glow. Meng Ze, you're out again? Dreamstar Night Glow looked a little tired and looked in a bad mental state, which was a rare thing for the Imperial Federation people with various supplies. Big guy, you seem to be under a lot of pressure lately. Meng Ze nodded and asked. Yes, you know the situation outside. right? Dream Star Night Glow looked at Meng Ze, wondering his answer. No, some. Meng Ze replied. So what's your idea at home? Dream Star Night Glowing asked. Big guy, I don't care what I think at home, and no one contacts me. I will definitely be on your side in this matter. Meng Ze said directly. All the forces of the Imperial Federation actually do not have much conflict of interest with Meng Ze. Even if it is the Meng family, Meng Ze does not have much sense of belonging. At most it is just to take care of it when it is not too troublesome. So Meng Ze does not stand in line. Which side to choose, in fact, only depends on his personal feelings. And with AKA in place, the Interstellar World Authority is all in hand. And Meng Ze is invincible by nature, not at all. Meng Ze has thought about it carefully. Maybe his current ability is far inferior to the real 05 level 6 commander. But so what? With his back to the interstellar world, he can completely consume his opponent with a fleet 10 times and 100 times. Thank you, Meng Ze. Dream Star Night Glow's smile was the first time he thanked Meng Ze. But you are only one person. Even if you are willing to help, it is not enough now. Dream Star Night Light sighed. Big guy, you tell me the situation. Maybe I can help. Meng Ze said. Huh. 9. Dream Star Night Light looked at Meng Ze. He understood that Meng Ze was not a person who could talk big, and there must be some confidence in saying this. I need to second the 3 level 6 commanders who are not confused for a moment, Killer and Cassandravore. Are you sure that you can suppress the Zerg? Big guy, as long as you give me enough planet seeds, I am completely sure to suppress the relic Zerg. Meng Ze said firmly. Really? Hearing Meng Ze's words, Dream Star Night Glow's heart set off a monstrous wave. This former little brother, how strong is it now, actually has the confidence to suppress the relic Zerg with 1 for 3, one person? Meng Ze, there is no room for this matter. Otherwise the foundation of the empire will be shaken. Although he already believed it in his heart, Dream Star Night Hui still said solemnly. Don't worry, big guy. I said to do it. Meng Ze replied categorically. Well, haha. Very well, Meng Ze. You did me a great favor. Dream Star Night Light finally burst out laughing. The big guy's business is my business. Meng Ze, how many days do you need? If there's anything you need to mention. The big stone in the heart of Dream Star Night Hui fell, and he said in a good mood. In 3 days, I only need enough planet seeds. But there is something unrelated I want to ask the big guy. Meng Ze said. What do you say? I want to visit the control center of our Imperial Federation in the interstellar world, and I don't know how big the world is, how it works. 35. Meng Ze voiced his request. Dreamstar Yehue thought for a while, and felt that it was just a visit, although it was a bit illegal, but the problem was not big, so he agreed. When do you want to go? Dream Star Night Light asked. Sooner rather than later, just now, I'm just curious to check it out anyway. Meng Ze also did not expect that the opportunity to touch the fragments of the Imperial Federation would come so quickly. Although it is a bit suspected of using the Dream Star Night Glow, the fragments of the Imperial Federation are too important for him and AKA, and they will definitely not let go of the opportunity. Okay, I'll give you a one-time permission key. You can use it in your command center to transmit to the Cloud Platform Control Center. Before you use it, notify me. I will give you open permissions. 99. I get the permission key and go over. Meng Ze said directly.
Yes.
Dream Star Night Light nodded. A few minutes later, Meng Ze received the permission key from Fantasy Star Night Glow, and after waiting for a few minutes, received a message from Fantasy Star Night Light that the permission has been opened. The teleporter in the command center, Meng Ze is experiencing it for the first time, and it is slightly different from the platform-like portal for transporting items, and the portal used for personnel transmission is shrouded in a cylindrical transparent cover. Don't look at this transparent cover, only a thin layer, but the defense is very powerful. This design is also to prevent interference when personnel are transmitted. Entering the covered portal, Meng Ze reports the location that needs to be transmitted, and then the cloud platform begins to check the key verification permissions. After a few seconds, the verification passes. Teleport. The command confirmed, and Meng Ze disappeared into the command center in an instant. Cloud platform. When the teleport ended, Meng Ze was stunned for a while before he came to his senses. This experience is very different from the experience on a stellar-class mothership, teleporting inside the mothership without a blink of an eye, without feeling. But his command center is not many light years away from the cloud platform, and this teleportation made Meng Ze feel like he was broken and rebuilt. Of course, Meng Ze did not feel any pain during the teleportation, but in a few seconds, it seemed that his body had completely disappeared, leaving only consciousness. How? Isn't it a different experience? Seeing Meng Ze's appearance, Dream Star Nightglow, who was standing outside the teleportation platform, asked with a smile. It really feels amazing. You can't perceive the body during teleportation, but your consciousness still exists. Meng Ze savored the feeling and replied, I heard that it is because it is a special substance that constitutes human consciousness. Extremely 807 is tiny and wonderful. I don't know much about this. Anyway, I can use it. 55. What the big guy said is that I'm not a scientist anyway. But take this opportunity to finally meet the big guy's living person. Haha. Dreamstar Knight light patted Meng Ze's shoulder and said with emotion, I didn't expect you to help me today. Thinking about the situation a few months ago, it's incredible. 95. Haha, big guy, please stay cold. I will be proud of you like this. Meng Ze quipped. You are fully entitled to be proud. Dreamstar Knight Light said seriously. Okay, let's go. The big guy will show you my territory. Meng Ze followed Dreamstar Knight to tour the cloud platform. I feel that these control centers and command centers of the Imperial Federation are similar environments, but the size and functions are different. The cloud platform is divided into multiple control areas according to player levels and functions, including new areas, chaotic battlefield leisure areas, first and second level, void floating island areas, real universe simulation areas, point system areas, resource system areas, and so on. How come there is no battlefield of adventure? Looking around, Meng Ze found a problem. The battlefield of adventure is generated by the interstellar world itself, and its generation is completely accidental and not under our control. Dreamstar Nightlight said regretfully. The adventure battlefield is a concentration of treasures in the interstellar world, but unfortunately the Imperial Federation's control over the interstellar world is not high, and until now, even the birth law of the adventure battlefield has not been found. Just after Meng Ze teleported into the cloud platform, with the help of Meng Ze's contact, aka quickly discovered where the last fragments of the interstellar world crystal nucleus were. However, the crystal core fragments are embedded in the control system designed by the Imperial Federation as one of the core energy sources. Tyranny of Heaven, aka shook his body straight. Although the Imperial Federation has linked the interstellar world through technical means, they did not find that the authority was derived from the crystal nucleus fragments, but went around in a big circle, first communicating the external rules of the interstellar world, and then contacting the crystal nucleus fragments through the rules. It's like everyone going to a place. Obviously, there is a road to heaven, and the Imperial Federation has found a difficult sheep intestinal path. In terms of authority acquisition, the Imperial Federation did not find the right direction at all, and it was even inferior to the Relic Zerg. If it weren't for the fact that the technical means were much stronger than the Relic Zerg with limited innate knowledge, it is estimated that the authority would have been robbed by the Relic Zerg. AKA has to do the same thing as when he got the Zerg fragments, but one is an after-the-fact imitation and the other is an ex-ante imitation. After reminding Meng Ze of the time it would take, AKA quickly spawned new fragments and began to compile rules within them. On the other side, Luo Wei and Zhang Lingling played outside for more than 2 hours. After the initial sense of novelty, Zhang Lingling began to be a little absent-minded. Lingling, what's wrong with you? Isn't it fun here? Luo Wei found that her best friend did not belong and asked. Looking at her girlfriend's eyes as clear as water, Zhang Lingling was very ashamed in her heart, but some things are like maggots with tarsal bones, and you can't let them go if you don't want to. After hesitating for a while, Zhang Lingling still swallowed and said, No, Vivi, I have something to say to you. Seeing her girlfriend's ashamed look, Luo Wei thought of something. Although the girl is simple, she is not stupid. Is it about Brother Bai? After a moment of silence, Luo Wei spoke. Vivi, I'm sorry. 99. Zhang Lingling didn't know what to say. She knew that her behavior was inappropriate, but she couldn't help it. Lingling, brother Xiaobai and I are engaged. Facing her best friend and girlfriend, Luo Wei didn't know what to do, but she wouldn't give up when she should protect her. Wei Wei, I know. I don't want to sabotage your marriage to brother Xiaobai. I just want to be with you guys. This, how can it? Luo Wei was stunned by her girlfriend's idea. Is this a fair third party? Vivi, please. Zhang Lingling took Luo Wei's hand and begged. Luo Wei never thought that she would encounter such a thing and wanted to refuse, but when she saw her girlfriend's pitiful appearance, she couldn't put her heart down. Let's go back first. For a long time, Luo Wei said. Vivi. Let me think. The two girls returned to the command center with a heavy heart, but found that Meng Ze was not there, and no one responded after several calls. Little card. What about the little white brother? The commander has something to do. Oh. The girl responded unconsciously, leaning back in the commander's chair, startled. Here, she feels like she can feel Meng Ze. What should I do? Luo Wei felt that her heart was so chaotic. Zhang Lingling stood by and twisted her fingers, uneasy, and she didn't know why she was so impulsive and made things clear. If Luo Wei doesn't agree, several people will really not be able to get along in the future. Xiaoka, Xiaobai is the commander of the Imperial Federation, right? I don't know how long it took. Luo Wei finally came to her senses and spoke. Yes, 35. Then how many wives can the commander of the Imperial Federation have? Hearing Wei Wei's question, Zhang Lingling's heart tightened. A lot, Xiaoka replied. Xiaoka's answer seemed to tear the haze in Zhang Lingling's heart a crack. A lot? Why? Luo Wei felt very strange. Isn't the Imperial Federation a higher civilization? Shouldn't men and women be equal? If the commander's heirs are difficult, they will inevitably have multiple wives and concubines. Otherwise, they will not be able to inherit it at all. What's going on? 9. Luo Wei became nervous, and Meng Ze had so many times. The girl was not completely ignorant of the affairs of men and women. No wonder Xiaobai did nothing before. Zhang Lingling's mind on the side was also attracted by Xiaoka's statement. Because the commander genes are mostly perfectly strengthened and extremely powerful, the success rate of gene recombination is extremely small. Isn't the technology of the Imperial Federation so high that it can't be manually intervened? Even Blue Star can do it. 39. The girl was puzzled. There are too few commander genetic samples, too high rejection, and too expensive manual combinations. Xiaoka replied. The two girls couldn't understand what this meant at all, and they looked dazed. The small card is very thoughtfully animated. The girls blushed and watched it, and finally understood what was going on. To put it simply, most of the commander's tadpoles are naturally inactive, and in an artificial way, it is extremely difficult to select active tadpoles from them, let alone select, and the probability of successful combination is less than 1 in 10,000. This probability is even lower than the probability of natural selection. Over time, no one did that. Understanding the reason, the two women were happy and worried. Wei Wei, Zhang Lingling was looking forward to. Looking at Luo Wei. Stunned for a while, Luo Wei nodded gently. Thank you, Vivi. Zhang Lingling was pleasantly surprised and hugged her girlfriend. It also depends on the meaning of brother Xiaobai. Luo Wei said. Zhang Lingling nodded heavily. Although the cloud, money paid, platform is much larger than the command center, it doesn't take long to walk around, and the entire cloud platform is full of intelligent mobile robots, and there is no need to rely on foot. AKA, how's it going? Seeing that it was about to finish, this was the result of Meng Ze's procrastination. Meng Ze couldn't help but ask in his mind. Don't worry, it'll be fine right away, there is plenty of time. 35. AKA looked at the crystal core fragments that were about to be completed in front of him and had mixed feelings, and he immediately dragged the last piece of the puzzle to complete the core of the interstellar world. When the core of the world is restored to completeness, the boundary wall will be strengthened by itself, and then wait until the internal circulation of interstellar world information is completed. At that time, even if the original civilization comes, it will have the ability to fight. Perhaps in the near future, he will be qualified to ask the original civilization. Why use the lives of all our intelligent beings to exchange for a false opportunity? As the light of the crystal nucleus fragments was released, aka finally completed the imitation of the crystal nucleus fragments. Unlike the fragment in Abelik's hand, the Imperial Federation used this fragment as one of the power cores, so in addition to making rules, Aker also opened an energy transmission channel within the fragment. An inexplicable fluctuation swept through the interstellar world in an instant, and everyone except Meng Ze was dazed for a moment, and then returned to normal. Done. After receiving Aker's summons, the stone in Meng Ze's heart finally fell to the ground. Big guy, just stop here. I'll go back and prepare early. Meng Ze picked up speed, finished the last part in a few clicks, and said to the Dream Starry Night, "Okay, you go back and count a number for me. As many planet seeds as you want can be provided to you. The only requirement is that the sooner the better." Dream Starry Night glow. Don't worry, big guy. 3 days is enough. Saying goodbye to the Dream Starry Night glow, Meng Ze teleported back to the command center in an instant. Coming out of the teleportation room, Meng Ze found the atmosphere in the command center a bit strange. Zhang Lingling shyly and timidly glanced at him one after another, while Luo Wei was full of sorrow and looked unhappy. What's wrong? Unhappy? Meng Ze stepped forward and hugged his fiancé and gave him a kiss. Brother Xiaobai, is it difficult for you to have children? Luo Wei raised her head to look at Meng Ze 810 and asked worriedly. Who told you that? Small card. Commander, I'm just answering Miss Vivi's question. The little card exonerates itself. Huh. You're smart enough to leave yourself clean. 35. Meng Ze is the first time to see intelligent life to justify himself, and sure enough, the intelligence that can become life is not at all the same as ordinary intelligence, and he has learned how to seek advantages and avoid disadvantages. Xiaoka is right, but it doesn't matter. We will have a long life in the future, and there are opportunities. Meng Ze gently smoothed Luo Wei's slightly frowned brow and comforted. Little white brother, I know. You and Lingling first find something to do by yourself. I have something to deal with. Meng Ze said to the two women. Brother Xiaobai, you are busy with yours. If it is not convenient, let's go outside first. Luo Wei said. That's okay. Okay. I'll be busy first. You guys arrange it yourself, and you need to call a small card. As an intelligent being, the multi-line operation of the small card is as simple as eating and drinking, and Meng Ze is not afraid that he will be interrupted when discussing the plan with the small card. Then Meng Ze ignored the two women and began to concentrate on designing his new star field arrangement. Replacing one big guy and 3 big guys is not very difficult, but Meng Ze already has the means to balance Abelik. All that remains is to increase the number of galaxies as soon as possible and to manufacture a large number of fleets. Meng Ze not only wants to make himself stronger than the ruined Zerg, but also to prepare enough fleets to withstand the full onslaught of the ruined Zerg, no matter which direction. As a result, Meng Ze would need 10 times as many fleets as the relic Zerg. Fortunately, as long as there are enough space shipyards, nothing else is a problem. Before Meng Ze could plan the layout, good news came from Aka. Meng Ze, I'm done. The strong excitement was transmitted to Meng Ze, allowing Meng Ze to feel Aker's mood. AKA, from now on, can we sit back and relax? Meng Ze also asked excitedly. Not yet, but it won't take long, not a year, for this interstellar world to be a complete and powerful subworld. 39. Well, congratulations, Aker. Meng Ze said excitedly. Congratulations, Meng Ze. AKA's gaze seemed to penetrate time and space, and the two looked at each other and smiled. Ako's success is also too good news for Meng Ze today. First of all, the first change is that Aker's control authority is more handy, and the upper and lower limits of the use of interstellar world permissions are increasing dramatically. In terms of class manufacturing alone, Meng Ze can now buy mystery classes at the price of ordinary soldiers, and if you add the reduction of the commander's bonus on AFDF, Meng Ze now only needs half the price of ordinary soldiers to buy mystery class classes. In addition, Meng Ze's manufacturing capabilities have been additionally accelerated. Scientific and technological research has quickly risen to full level as if cheating, and resource collection capabilities and recovery speed have broken through the sky. In fact, as long as AKA wants, the entire interstellar world can be used by Meng Ze. And on the battlefield of adventure, Meng Ze also figured out the reason for Maker. The so-called adventure battlefield is a natural coincidence when the interstellar world was born, and it obtained the ability to collect information from the real universe on its own, and these collected information, under the influence of the rules of the interstellar world itself, condensed into various treasures. So, this is an automatic intelligence collector plus treasure generator. Meng Ze exclaimed. In the future, you can go through the treasures of the battlefield for me first, right? Take away what is useful, and leave what is useless to those who have a fate. Although Meng Ze is now at the top of the 6th level, he may also encounter something useful in the adventure battlefield. For example, Meng Ze's space curing technology. Now Meng Ze already knows, this technology from the Amber tribe is actually a small branch of the 7th level civilization space technology. No problem. Meng Ze's request, aka will naturally meet. Then Meng Ze received a message from the Phantom Star Nightglow, who had opened a special permission to buy planet seeds, unlimited in number, and all at the price of broken bones. Meng Ze was also polite and bought 100,000 planet seeds in one go. This amount is much more than Meng Ze's needs, but Meng Ze is in a hurry and does not calculate carefully. Moreover, there are more star seeds, and the error tolerance rate is high. Even if the layout of your own galaxy is occasionally unreasonable, it is not a big problem. Wait until Meng Ze's galaxy takes shape, and then apply for relocation. You can replace one galaxy after another, liberating all 3 6th-level bosses. Of course, planets alone are certainly not enough, and Meng Ze needs to build a lot of reconnaissance and defenses. However, in this regard, there is a list first, and it can be completed by handing it to the small card. Watching the seeds of the planets being positioned and then growing at breakneck speed, Meng Ze finally relaxed. At this time, Meng Ze noticed that Luo Wei and Zhang Lingling were standing behind him on the left and right, looking at him all the time, seemingly without blinking. The eyes are full of love and adoration. Love? What the hell is this Zhang Lingling? Are you acting so obviously and appropriately? Meng Ze looked at Luo Wei next to him a little weakly, but fortunately, Wei Wei didn't seem to have found it yet. Glaring at Zhang Lingling, the other party returned him with a beautiful smile. Brother Xiaobai, what were you doing just now? Luo Wei asked curiously. Just now, she saw the big screen constantly changing, and every scene was extremely sci-fi. Knowing that Meng Ze was giving various instructions, and the sense of adoration for her fiancé in her heart was about to overflow. It's just that Luo Wei doesn't know what Meng Ze is doing, and now she sees Meng Ze idle, so she asks. Guess what? Meng Ze is now quite idle. The girl tried hard to recall the pictures just now, but where could she guess that she was so strange to the interstellar world? Brother Xiaobai, I can't guess, you tell me. After thinking for a while, the girl felt that she had no clue. Growing a planet. Meng Ze scratched the girl's little nose. Kind of planet? Kind of planet? Luo Wei and Zhang Lingling both cried out in surprise. They have heard of farming, trees, vegetables, etc., but how does the word seed relate to the planet? Is it a real planet? Zhang Lingling couldn't wait to ask. Of course, but this method can only be used in this world. With that, Meng Ze instructed Xiaoka, show the two of them how the planet is grown. As the words fell, the figure of a spaceship appeared in the picture. Stellar-class mothership, 35. The two girls were all too familiar with this spaceship. After all, they had only returned from the mothership not long ago. The picture is fast forward. Soon, the mothership stopped at a position in the starry sky. The huge hatch opened, and the star seeds fixed in the ship's body were dragged out. This is followed by the process of setting track information and activating it that is not displayed. The two girls only saw that after the star seed was placed, the star-class mothership left on its own, and then the star seed began to expand and began to spin and orbit the star. It turned out to be so. Luo Wei felt that his IQ was not enough. Little white brother, will the planet planted in this way be a real planet? Of course it's true. It's exactly the same as what we have under our feet now. But this is a rule unique to this subworld, and it can't be treated the same as the universe on the other side of the blue star. Wow, don't you have many planets, that little white brother? Zhang Lingling asked in shock. There are tens of thousands of them now. Meng Ze said an approximate number. 6,635. My family's house of more than 100 square meters, the loan has not been repaid. Zhang Lingling said speechlessly. Hearing Zhang Lingling's words, Luo Wei also thought of her own family, although it was better than Lingling's family. But in order to buy a house, she also took on debts for several years, and she thought that in Zyabage, the planet is calculated in tens of thousands. Now my situation is not suitable for exposure, and if I have a chance in the future, I can let everyone live in, and there is no problem with one planet at a time. Meng Ze laughed. Hearing Meng Ze's words, both girls showed longing eyes. Just then, Meng Ze suddenly received a message from Aker. It's time to go out. People have made several phone calls. Huh? Whose? Meng Ze was a little scratching his head. Before Aka could answer, he heard Zhang Lingling's phone ring. When Zhang Lingling picked up the phone, an eager voice came out of the phone. Lingling, what time it is? Why don't you answer the phone? Why haven't you come back? When have you been? Zhang's mother's complaining voice came from the phone. Hearing the words in the mobile phone, Meng Ze remembered that his mobile phone was linked by AKA, no matter which world he was in. On Luo Wei's side, it seems that no such thing has happened. AKA, what's going on here, Zhang Lingling? Meng Ze didn't believe that AKA didn't know. How did it go wrong like this? Himph, I'm helping you. Don't thank me.
What?
Meng Ze looked blindfolded. But Aka didn't reply. Mom, I didn't hear my phone ring just now. I'll be back immediately. 35. When Zhang Lingling hung up the phone, Meng Ze immediately said, let's send Lingling back first. Sorry, Lingling, I also forgot the time. The three appeared at Meng Ze's home in an instant. Meng Ze changed his shoes, saw that Luo Wei did not move, and said strangely, Wei Wei, aren't you together? Luo Wei's expression was complicated for a moment, and she shook her head and said, Brother Xiaobai, you send Lingling back. I'll wait for you at home. Okay then. 35. Meng Ze drove Zhang Lingling, and he found that from the beginning of going out, Zhang Lingling behaved strangely today, shy and happy along the way, and wanted to talk and stop. Meng Ze guessed in his heart that it must have happened to the two girls when they were in the interstellar world, and when Luo Wei suddenly asked the child's problem, he had doubts. 0. Ask for flowers. Guandi moved lightly and dexterously through the traffic, and it didn't take long to arrive near Zhang Lingling's community. Seeing that she was about to get home, Zhang Lingling finally couldn't help but speak. Brother Xiaobai, I like you. Do you like me? 35. Meng Ze was startled by the girl's sudden confession and pulled the brake to the side of the road. Lingling, you are a good girl, but you know me in Wei Wei. 35. Zhang Lingling directly interrupted Meng Ze's words, looking at him with burning eyes. What? Zhang Lingling's words surprised Meng Ze. I told Vivi that she agreed to let me stay with you. 35. Zhang Lingling repeated seriously. 0. Even with Meng Ze's mind, he was stunned for a while before reacting.
You and us?
Meng Ze said uncertainly. Zhang Lingling looked at Meng Ze shyly but bravely and nodded. To say that Meng Ze didn't dream of hugging left and right would be a lie. However, since meeting Luo Wei, Meng Ze thought that he had found the best girl for Blue Star, so he didn't think much else. It's not that he doesn't know that Zhang Lingling has intentions for him, but he has always been a little evasive. Unexpectedly, this girl actually convinced Vivi behind her back. Meng Ze didn't think she was lying. Just look at Vivi's performance today. Little white brother. Seeing that Meng Ze did not speak, the girl's face gradually turned pale. Meng Ze came to his senses, saw this scene, and suddenly made a decision in his heart. A girl is not afraid. What is she afraid of? He directly held the girl's hand, and Zhang Lingling suddenly looked surprised. Meng Ze looked at her and said, Thank you for liking me, Lingling, but there's one thing I'll say ahead. Seeing that the girl listened carefully, Meng Ze said, Vivi is the first in my heart. Are you still sure you want to be with me? 35. I know, little white brother. I won't fight with Wei Wei about anything. Seeing Zhang Lingling say this, Meng Ze has no reason to refuse. He put his arm around the girl, leaving his own marks on the other person's Sakura's lips. Seeing Zhang Lingling stepping back and forth into the community, Meng Ze didn't know what it was like. There is naturally some joy. Who doesn't like a good girl who throws herself into her arms? But other than that, Meng Ze still loves Luo Wei a little bit. Combined with Luo Wei's question today, Meng Ze guessed that at least part of the reason why she could accept Zhang Lingling voluntarily was due to the issue of heirs. Having said that, Xiaoka also served as an assist. With guilt in his heart, Meng Ze loved the girl waiting for him at home more and more. The next 2 days, the two girls continued to go to school to make up lessons. In the interstellar world, Xiaoka is expanding the star field step by step according to Meng Ze's plan. Meng Ze only needs to spend a small amount of time to check it every day, and the rest of the time is free. So I paid more attention to the situation of Blue Star. The Meng Ze 297 fleet, which is dressed in the skin of the Galaxy Fleet, has signed an agreement with China. On Xia Country's side, the census registration activities have been going on for quite some time, but even now, they are still in full swing. In just a few days, thousands of fugitives surrendered themselves in various parts of the Xia Kingdom, and the number of surrender consultation calls received by the relevant departments far exceeded this number. Among them, many calls were made from abroad. Except for those who committed the death penalty, the people who were consulted covered all other minor and serious crimes. Most of these people came here for the genetic enhancement reagents, and the attractiveness of the genetic enhancement reagents can be seen in general. This makes the people in the relevant departments really painful and happy. In addition to these crimes, there are countless applicants for immigration and naturalization. After quick negotiations with high-level officials, Xiagua greatly raised the threshold for naturalization, but at the same time opened a special channel for naturalization. As long as they are special talents, high-end talents, and those who provide Xiagua with special taxes, they can go through the fast track to go through the naturalization procedures. For those who had given up their nationality, Xiagua did not kill all of them with a stick, but if they want to renaturalize, the conditions in all aspects are extremely harsh. In addition to population registration, China's medical care has undergone earth-shaking changes in just a few days. Considering the medical situation of Xiagua, Meng Ze arranged for Shi Guangqi to directly transport a batch of primary medical cabins and distribute them to hospitals above the county level in Xiagua. This kind of medical cabin can not only deal with simple trauma, but also has excellent effects on respiratory diseases and infectious diseases. It also has several functions such as treatment, sterilization, and cleaning of dirt. After several trials, the medical cabin became the biggest treasure of all hospitals. As for those critically ill patients, they were directly sent to the Star-class mothership for treatment. Whether it was a broken limb, cerebral palsy, or even a vegetable, the medical cabin on the Star-class mothership could completely handle it. In terms of military affairs, with sufficient technical support, Xiagua launched the first-generation individual armor sample, the 10th high-performance Kuan beam, the kind of heavy equipment sample at the fastest speed in just a few days. Although many of the technologies have not been fully understood, and even the programs that support the system have not been fully understood, but this does not mean that Xiagua cannot follow the calabash. In terms of radar technology, Meng Ze not only gave Xiagua technical support, but also directly provided 10 samples for Xiagua's use and research. This kind of radar that can clearly detect tens of thousands of kilometers has subverted the 3 views of Xiagua's technicians. The direction that the radar is facing has no dead angle of detection, and it is not affected by the curvature of the planet at all. Could it be that the radar detection can be arc-shaped? As for the electromagnetic gun, because Xiagua itself has a lot of accumulation, after obtaining more advanced technology, it directly produced 10 units in batches and announced a high-profile test firing in the East China Sea. They even directly invited military officers stationed in Xia from various countries to observe the scene. When Yingjiang confirmed the range of Xiagua's new electromagnetic gun with a range of up to 1,000 kilometers through various investigation methods, he reiterated a Xiagua principle on the same day. In the next day, many members of Yingjiang proposed that the law on the protection of relations with Manhwa was no longer in line with reality and asked to vote to abolish this clause. In terms of the Air Force, not to mention the super-large capacity transport aircraft, The emergence of ghost fighter technology directly made Xiagua's previous fighter technology lag behind by more than one generation. At the request of Ba Tai, Xiagua agreed to put a certain 20 fighters into the other party's shopping cart. Regarding the Navy, there is no special naval technology in the technology of the Imperial Federation, but many technologies are indeed universal. As long as Xiagua can thoroughly understand all the technologies assisted by Meng Ze, then the material technology, detection technology, power technology, etc., it will improve countless grades. At that time, it was easy to improve the strength of the Navy. Wakana tribe. Aravana Meyer admired the methods of the Patriarch Chalabi. Patriarch, you are really far-sighted. It turns out that you have already made arrangements in the Imperial Federation, and now the political situation of the Imperial Federation is already in turmoil. Aravana Meyer is old. Don't be too optimistic now. The Imperial Federation is a civilization with a long history. It is not so easy to shake, and our purpose is not to subvert a civilization. Although, if there is a chance, I don't mind doing this. But remember that the interstellar subworld is our goal. We want to make the Empire Federation mess up, let the Zerg become the knife in our hands, so that we can force the Empire Federation to ask us for help. Chalabi wrote, what if the Imperial Federation doesn't do that all the time? Aravana said, then we have to spend more time and get it ourselves. Chalabi said domineeringly. Later, Chalabi added, but this will give Callista and Dribri an excuse to intervene, and hopefully it won't go to that point. Aravana nodded and said, although Callista and Dribri are not as good as us, they are really difficult to deal with together. I don't know if this is the luck or misfortune of the people of the Empire Federation, but it surprised them, created a magical subworld. So we have to make Wakana stronger. Chalabi said. On the bright side, the Wakana people have already stood at the top of civilization, because the 8th level civilization is not obvious and civilizations below the 8th level cannot find the other party's territory at all. Level 9 civilization is even more illusory, and many civilizations even doubt whether level 9 civilization exists. 0.7. Patriarch. On Song Shani's side, the Imperial Federation has reduced his logistical support, and the other party asked us to provide resources and supplies, and at the same time let him expand the Legion. Agree to him? Aravana asked. Promise him no. Give him double? Chalabi said. Patriarch, it's fine if you promise him. Why should you give more? Aravana didn't understand. Song Shani is the first person to stand up after all, and he is the closest to us. Give him more support and set an example. Besides, a little resource is not even a contribution to us. Superior. Understood, Patriarch. I will arrange it. Well, pay close attention to the movements in the Imperial Federation and report any changes in time. Chalabi finally said. Okay, Patriarch. I will take my leave first. Go. Time flies. StarWorld. Meng Ze looked at the fully formed Nova field. More than 11,000 stars are shining in the starry sky, and more than 110,000 planets are orbiting in their respective orbits. The stars are also moving, but unlike the real universe, the stars in the interstellar world do not have a common center, or their orbits are artificially set by the commander. On the planet, all the preset buildings are fully constructed. In space, the number of light-level superfortresses has exceeded 1 billion. As for Starfleet, Meng Ze divided most of his warships into 100 large fleets. Each large fleet has 1,000 small fleets. Each small fleet has 800,000 destroyers, 150,000 battleships, and 15,000 Prism-class battlefield surveillance ships and 5,000 Stellar-class motherships. There are a total of 100 billion warships in the formation, and there are more than 10 billion warships in the formation. If all these battleships are gathered together, even in the vast starry sky, they will still find a feeling of crowding. It's time to notify the boss of Fantasia Xingyue. Everything is ready, Meng Ze thought in his heart. After receiving the news from Meng Ze, Fantasy Xing Yahue was overjoyed. Despite Meng Ze's commitment to 28, he has been living in extreme torment these days. The Huang family is one of the leading families, and many people are waiting to see the actions of these high-level officials. However, a few days have passed. In addition to restricting the 6th-level commander Song Shani, who jumped out publicly in terms of logistics, and verbally condemning him, the high-level officials of the Imperial Federation military only demanded that all the subordinate commanders under Song Shani's command were nominally under his command, rather than making a cut. However, these actions have limited convincing power, and even within the jurisdiction of Mori Yamajiri, lower-level commanders blatantly refuted the orders of the imperial military. If it weren't for the Huang family's promise to suppress the 6th-level commanders within the time limit, the Imperial Federation and other high-level military officials were even prepared to use the 6th-level commanders who had relegated to the second line. Even under such tremendous pressure, Meng Ze resisted the external and family pressure, insisting not to urge Meng Ze. Fortunately, Meng Ze did not disappoint him and completed the arrangement as scheduled. Since you're ready, I'll immediately notify the 3 commanders, unconfused for a moment, Killer and Cashandela Worley, to transfer. Fantasy Xingyue said to Meng Ze. No problem. Then Fantastic Star Yehue opened a temporary channel and pulled the 3 big shots and Meng Ze into it. For a moment, I am not confused about the 6th-level commander, the 6th-level commander of the Killer, and the 6th-level commander of Cashandela Worley. I thank the 3 for their hard work over the years. According to the joint order of the 3-star General Duan of the Imperial Federation and the 3-star General Wang Churong of the Imperial Federation, your tasks in the interstellar world will be completely transferred to Meng Ze immediately, waiting for the call of the civilization of the Imperial Federation, and 3 6th-level commanders are requested to cooperate in completing the handover of the defense line. Fantasia Star Yehue followed the procedure to read the order issued by the top military of the Empire on behalf of the civilization of the Empire Federation. In fact, all parties have already communicated about these matters, and only with the consent of the 3 6th-level commanders can the Imperial Federation military be mobilized smoothly. After all, at the level of the 6th-level commander, the independence is too strong. This is also the reason why the high level of the Imperial Federation military has no choice but to take Song Shani directly. Unless it is proved that the other party is openly treasonous or has seriously damaged the interests of the civilization of the Empire Federation, otherwise, forcible military disposal will not only have serious consequences, but also easily cause the rebound of other 6th-level commanders. For a moment, the 6th-level commanders did not hesitate to obey the orders of the Imperial Federation Army and agreed to hand over the defense line to Commander Meng Ze. The 6th-level commander, the Killer, obeyed the orders of the Imperial Federation Army and agreed to hand over the defense line to Commander Meng Ze. 6th Commander Casandela Worley obeyed the Imperial Federation Army's order and agreed to hand over the defense line to Commander Meng Ze. After the 3 6th-level bosses finished speaking, Meng Xingyue breathed a sigh of relief. Usually, the bosses are willing to sell their favors for the sake of their families, but at the really critical moment, it is definitely not enough to rely on themselves. Fortunately, it was almost a negotiation, and after paying various conditions, these big boss-level commanders agreed and did not regret it. People who don't know the operating rules of the Imperial Federation commander may think that this procedure is nothing. Just say one more word. It's actually not that simple. As I said before, the commander's priority of assisting intelligent life services is that the first level is the civilization of the Empire Federation, and the second level is the commander himself. Generally speaking, as long as there is no clear evidence that the commander betrayed the civilization of the Empire Federation, the intelligent life will completely obey the commander's order. The program just now is the first priority of activating intelligent life, which means that this order represents the civilization of the Empire Federation, and the words of the commander himself represent confirmation that the source of the order is correct and will be executed in accordance with the relevant order. When this program is confirmed, it will be difficult for the commander to go back on his word. Otherwise, it will be easy to find the backlash of intelligent life. Brother Meng Ze, I didn't expect you to be able to be completely independent without knowing it. Not confused for a moment, in fact, the feeling in his heart is far from being as relaxed as he said verbally. This is suppressing the Zerg with his own strength and replacing the 3 of them at the same time. It is easy to say that he was extremely shocked. Didn't expect. Cashandela Worley had known for a long time that Meng Ze would replace him. At that time, He was extremely shocked. Unexpectedly, within a few days, one became 3. You know, these people are not small roles. Meng Ze, work hard. I'll leave it to you later. Fighting with the relic Zerg every day in such a small place. I'm almost sick of nausea. I'm finally relieved. The killer, said with a smile. No matter what the bosses say, in fact, everyone is not at peace. This Meng Ze has grown so fast that it has grown to this level in just a few months. From now on, no matter what level Meng Ze is or what rank he is in, no one dares to ignore him anymore, and he has officially entered the ranks of top commanders. Thank you 3 big guys for your help. Without you, I wouldn't have grown up so quickly. Meng Ze has no humility. At this time, humility is hypocrisy. It's your own ability, and I look forward to cooperating with others in the future. For a moment, he nodded to Meng Ze without being confused. Killer and Cassandela warmly agreed. The 3 big brothers have been defending the relic Zerg together all the year round, and their friendship has been relatively strong. Now with the addition of Meng Ze, the 4 of them are the commanders of the same period in front of them, and the relationship will be closer than others.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe.